Hey guys, let's do a little science experiment and see if we can come up with an electrolysis tank for removing rust. Thanks for watching. Watching cold bore motors recently, Scott used this method to remove some rust from some body parts for his 1960 Impala, and I figured it probably would work well to strip some rust off of the parts here for the 1953 Ford. What we have here is the remnants of the A-pillar and the hinge pocket. And what we need to do is clean up the back side of this, and then we'll have to replace the bottom where it tapers down into the rocker panel. To do this, we need a tub of some sort. We need a caustic solution, which is going to be some So Clean washing soda. Doesn't need to be very strong. We need a sacrificial anode, which is going to be our positive. I figure a piece of angle iron should work all right for that. We need some wire to connect everything up, and we need a power supply that can put out, 10 amps of 12 volt into the solution, and that should move all the rust off of this and onto this. Because I don't keep the garage heated all the time, I got an immersion heater from I got that from Amazon, and we've got a board that we can use to hang the parts off of so that they don't accidentally bump into our anode and create a short. Let me put you guys on the stand, go grab a couple of jugs of water from the house. We'll start setting this thing up. I got about 8 gallons of hot water in here, what looks to be about the right amount of washing soda. We've got our immersion heater attached to a piece of 1x4. That will hopefully keep our water from freezing. We've got some wire here to wire up our first victim. And we've got an anode set up. So I guess we can just lower the anode into the tank. Keep it off to the side so it doesn't short out. And I guess we'll make there's our wire. I put some screws in the top of the 1x4 here, just something to wrap the wire around. I guess we can double it up just for the sake of doubling it up. I've got this piece mostly cleaned up, so we'll use that as our connection point. I don't want our piece of rusty metal to come in contact with our immersion heater, because I'm not entirely sure that the immersion heater is electrically isolated. It does say not to touch the water with your bare hand when the immersion heater is plugged in, so we want to be careful with that. I guess we can start putting some power to this thing. Let me dig up a couple of extension cords here, and we'll plug things in and see if we start getting any bubbles off of anything. Now, one thing we do have to keep in mind here is we've got to do this in a well-ventilated area. That's why I'm doing it out here in the garage instead of in my basement where it's warm and we would not have to deal with immersion heaters. But I wouldn't call my basement all that well ventilated, so we're going to do that out here in the garage where the garage leaks enough that there shouldn't be a problem with a buildup of gas. We are going to get hydrogen and oxygen gas off of this as we run this electrolysis tank. So we don't want that building up and encountering a spark and making the garage go boom. That wouldn't be good either. Let me get some power hooked up here, and I'll bring you back in a minute. Basically, we're ready to hook up. We've got our negative hooked up to the part. We've got our positive hooked up to the anode. I got the power lead that I use for my bench grinder, and we'll plug it in. Now we want this in manual, and we want it at 10 amps. So let's see what happens. Gauge on the front doesn't show that it's pulling any current. Ah, there we are. Now we're pulling some power. Things should start bubbling here shortly. I don't have the immersion heater hooked up yet because the water's still hot, but let me make some adjustments here, get this part completely submerged into the water, and I'll bring you back in a minute. I don't know whether that shows up for you guys or not, but off of the end of this piece, we're getting a good amount of bubbles coming off of there. Not really seeing anything down at this end. Wondering if maybe we've got that in the solution backwards, because the rustier end is the lower end, which is this direction. Might be a good idea to have that up by the anode. We are certainly getting some bubbling. I'm going to let this cook for a while. We'll pull the part out in about an hour and see if there has been any improvement with the rust removal. See you then. I did spin it around in the tank so that the rusty end was towards the anode. One thing I've noticed, and I don't know whether I'm going to be able to show you guys or not, but the copper on the anode is green, and this hasn't been running for 5 minutes, and the anode, the copper on the anode side is already green. That suggests to me that we're doing something. We've got bubbling here off of the cut steel edge, where I zipped off the body mount. So that tells me we are getting some electrolysis happening here. Let's let this set for a while. See you in a bit. This has been cooking for, oh, I don't know, 2 hours now. I'll disconnect the power so that we don't blow anything up. Lift this out and we'll see what it looks like. The crusty red oxide is turning black, and the shiny parts here are quite a bit shinier. This red oxide primer is lifting off. We're a long ways from being done by any means, but it appears to be doing something. Well, let's leave it cooking some more, I guess, and we'll see how it does. Got the power hooked back up, we'll let it boil. You can see the fizz coming up off of the steel here. That's a good sign. The wire that goes down to the anode is absolutely black now, which means that we must be transferring some oxides to it of some sort. Hey guys, we're back here. It is the next morning. I haven't taken this out. I did turn off the heat last night. This this whole tub was kind of like bath water. This is obviously way too much power, and there's no thermostat to turn it down. What we're going to end up having to do, I think, is get a timer on it, so it only runs like 15 minutes every couple of hours. Just because this is way too much heat. All we really need to do is, 10 Celsius, 50 degrees Fahrenheit would be lots. This has been running all night. It got down to -6 Celsius here in the garage overnight, so I don't know. It's not warm. It's definitely cold, but it's nowhere near having ice form on the top of it. But with it cooling off the way it has, the fizz coming up off of it has definitely been reduced. We got it disconnected. Let's lift it out of here and see what we've got. I guess we'll shake it up a little bit, knock any, give it a little rinse. Well, it certainly has done something, but I'm not going to say that it has done as much as I'd hoped. Let me grab a brush. We'll kind of scrape at things a little bit. We'll see how it cleans up. Well, that does something. This was pretty scaly under here. We'll see what that does. A little bit of bare metal around the edges, I guess. We are getting some cleaning up here. Like, it's not kind of as it was promised. It's not just automatically going to remove the rust. You got to scrub at it a little bit, but it certainly is stripping it down to bare metal. I don't know whether you guys can see this or not, but up through the middle of this, it's cleaning up kind of nice. All right, now we can actually see what we're doing. We scrub at this a little bit, rinse it in the water, and you can see we're getting down to bare metal. It's a lot faster than sandblasting. Well, not if you count the amount of time it was in the in the bucket, but a lot less effort than actively sandblasting it, and I think it's probably going to be nicer to the metal. Oh, here we go. Now we're getting some of the stuff rinsed off. This whole side is cleaning up nice. I don't think we're cooked quite as full as we should have been. Probably losing the heat slowed the whole process down. What I'm going to do here is I'm going to put this back in the tank. I'm going to fire the heater back up, and then I am going to go and buy myself a timer. And hopefully we can get one that will let us run this heater limited duty cycle and keep our temperature warm but not hot. And I think that will make a pretty good difference. Let me take care of that, and I'll bring you guys back after a little bit. I pulled the anode out, and I have a sneaking suspicion that we're not making a good connection. We're not getting much in the way of action out of this thing now. I'm wondering if we've just got a little bit of corrosion built up here. Oh, look at all the rust. And we're not getting a good connection to our steel anymore. We're not pulling much power, so that tells me we've got a bad connection. Or a high resistance connection. Learning experience. I've got the heat plugged back in, so we'll see how this does. I've kind of left things cooking here for an hour, and with the heat turned on, and absolutely it's made a big difference to the amount of movement we're getting off of the part, having a little bit of additional heat in there. Plus I kind of cleaned up the anode a little bit, so is it the heat, is it the anode? I don't know. I picked up a timer. This is just a cheap Stanley one. Down is on, up is off. Kind of set it up so that every few hours the power comes on to the heater for half an hour. That should keep some heat in the water and prevent things from freezing up, and hopefully allow this to cook. I'm going to pull this out and scrub at it some more now that it's warmed up, and we'll see if we can get it to clean up a little bit better. If not, we can always leave it in here again overnight and see if we can get any more rust off of it. But I'm kind of curious how things are going to clean up. Let me bring you back in a minute. We'll see what it looks like. I just scrubbed at it with the wire brush a little bit in here, and you can see that we're starting to get down to bare metal. This side here is still a little bit dark, but it is starting to show some bare metal. This is working. It's kind of like brushing your teeth. It's not like I'm having to scrub at it to actually remove the hard scale like you would with a wire wheel if it was all dry. This is kind of just, you know, scrubbing at it, kind of like taking old paint off or something like that. Or I kind of compare it to brushing your teeth. You know, you got to go at it a little bit, but it is cleaning up really nice. This side wasn't really rusty to begin with, and it's cleaned up very nice. But this inside here is still going to take a little bit more cooking. I'm going to leave it on till maybe later this evening. We'll see how it looks at that. I've got the timer set up. I got the heat going. I got cleaned up the anode, changed the connection around here a little bit. We'll see how this is going. This is all kind of new to me, so I'm learning as I go, just like you guys are. So let's get this thing back in the water with the heat on and the power on, and I'll bring you back. We'll see how it all turns out. So far, I'm pretty happy with how this is cleaning up. It's not fast, but it does a nice job. Well, guys, there's our experiment. It still has a little bit of rust on it. I'm not positive that the solution that I have has enough washing soda in it, or also we could have the just the connection for the anode isn't necessarily the best. I've got some ideas to improve that rather than just having the piece of wire wrapped around the piece of angle iron. But for the most part, this has cleaned up really nice. This was really scaly in here, and it's basically down to bare metal. You can see where rust has eroded the metal away, and now we've got, you know, basically clean metal, but no buildup where the metal used to be. Basically from here down we're going to end up replacing anyway, so it's not a big deal. This allows us to proceed with the next step. I've got to extract this body mount off of here, and we'll spot weld the new one in its place. And we can arrange it in the A-pillar here and on the body mount, and then we can start reassembling all this stuff. I think we'll call that a successful science experiment. Thanks a lot for stopping by. Greatly appreciate you taking the time to watch the video. If you got this far, give me one of those thumb up things. Give me a like. If you haven't already done so, consider subscribing to the channel. Love to have you come back, watch some more videos, and we'll catch you guys in the next mess. Thanks for watching.